Meet Alex, who has been a black sheep of the Miller family for last 5 years. While his sister Tiffany was busy social climbing and his Aunt Carol was curating her perfect suburban life, Alex was living on ramen and caffeine, pouring every cent into a tech startup. To his family, he wasn't an entrepreneur. He was just broke. Then came the wedding. Tiffany was marrying Chad Sterling. The Sterlings are old money San Diego, the kind of wealthy that has its own zip code and a legal team on speed dial. This wedding wasn't just a ceremony, it was a high society pageant. Then the digital slap happened. Alex opens his email to find a guest list update from Aunt Carol. It was a masterpiece of passive-aggressive corporate speak. Basically, the wedding is too high-end for your current tax bracket, so please stay home so you don't ruin the photos. Uninvited from his own sister's wedding. While Alex is moving into his new corner office, the Sterlings are out here playing rich while their bank accounts are screaming for help. Chad's dad, Sterling Sr., is a legendary grustler. He's got the suits and the sneakers, but he's actually a professional at dodging bills. He's playing chicken with the Grandview estate, waiting until the very last millisecond to pay the final $205,000 venue fee. He thinks he's being a strategic genius by keeping the cash in his account for a few extra days. Alex is watching the internal dashboard at Grandview like a hawk. The clock hits the 5 p.m. deadline. The money? Nowhere to be found. Alex instructs the manager to prep the cancellation notice. But then his phone pings. It's Chad. The groom is panicking. He's begging Alex, the broke brother, to float him a $250,000 loan because his dad has gone radio silent. Chad has no idea he's literally begging the owner of the venue to pay himself. Alex agrees to help, but he makes Chad sign a loan agreement that's basically a financial handcuffs. High interest, short fuse, and Chad's future trust fund as collateral. Chad thinks Alex is his lifesaver. Alex knows he's Chad's new owner. But then, Alex goes into the Grandview archives. He finds a dusty file from It turns out the Sterlings didn't just buy this estate. They swindled it from a family of immigrants during the Great Depression, using some of the shadiest legal loops in history. The original family's name? Miller. Alex's family. This isn't just a wedding payback anymore. It's a generational repossession. Alex realizes that the museum property, Sterling Sr., is currently trying to bulldoze for luxury condos, also belong to the Millers. Alex picks up the phone and calls an investigative journalist. It's time to make the Sterling name trend for all the wrong reasons. Finally, it's the wedding day. The vibe is peak luxury, but behind the scenes, it's a dumpster fire. The original wedding coordinator mysteriously quit after Alex offered her a better job at his firm. The venue manager, Maria, tells the family there's only one person who knows the facility well enough to step in: the new owner. Alex walks into the bridal suite, wearing a bespoke suit that costs more than Tiffany's car. Aunt Carol nearly drops her champagne. "What are you doing here? You're uninvited," she shrieks. Alex doesn't even look at her. He just checks his watch and tells the catering staff to hold the caviar. Aunt Carol tries to call security, but the guards just salute Alex. He leans in and whispers, "Carol, I'm the one paying the guards. I'm the one who paid for the cake. And I'm the one who's about to decide if you get escorted out of here in front of all your high society's friends." But then Tiffany's phone explodes with notifications. The news story just broke. The headline is everywhere: Sterling family, a century of predatory theft. The article lays out the 1937 swindle and the current museum fraud. The guests, who are all about clout, start looking at Sterling Sr. like he's a biohazard. Sterling Sr. is in the hallway, screaming into his phone, trying to get the story taken down. But it's too late. The old money image is cooked. Then the real blow lands: Chad is missing. He saw the article, realized his dad is a fraud, and ghosted. He's currently at the newspaper office, handing over more documents to the feds to save his own skin. Sterling Sr. storms into the room, pointing a finger at Alex. "You did this. You sabotaged my son's day. Alex just pulls out the 1937 deed. No, Pops, I'm just collecting the interest on a debt you've owed my family for 90 years. And by the way, the loan I gave Chad, it's officially in default. I'm taking your trust fund too. Tiffany is standing there, a runaway bride without the running part. Her fairy tale is a crime scene. Aunt Carol is hyperventilating because her social standing just hit zero. Everyone expects Tiffany to crumble. But Tiffany looks at Alex. Then she looks at the 300 guests waiting in the ballroom. She grabs the house mic. "Ladies and gentlemen," she says, her voice cold as ice. "There will be no wedding today. Chad Sterling is a coward and his father is a thief." The crowd gasps. But she's not done. However, since my brother Alex actually owns this estate and already paid for the top-shelf open bar, we aren't going home. We're staying here to celebrate the Miller family finally getting their house back. Sterlings, you're uninvited. Get out. The Sterlings are perp-walked out of the Grandview estate by security, while the broke Miller relatives are moved to the VVIP tables. The party turns into a success celebration for Alex's startup. Sterling Sr. is facing a dozen lawsuits, and Chad is basically Alex's personal assistant now, working off that $235K debt he can't pay back. Alex sits at the head table, the 1937 deed framed next to his drink. Aunt Carol tries to come over and apologize, hoping for a job. Alex doesn't even let her speak. He just hands her a bill for the guest list consultation he did. "Don't worry about the aesthetic anymore, Carol," he says, "because from now on, you're not even in the frame." The wedding party was a vibe, but the morning after? That was a straight-up war zone. Sterling Sr. didn't just crawl into a hole. He doubled down. He hired a squad of high-priced fixer attorneys to sue Alex for tortious interference and extortion. They claimed Alex manipulated the venue acquisition to trap a distinguished family. They thought they were playing checkers, but Alex was playing 4D chess in the cloud. See, when Chad signed that emergency loan agreement, he didn't just sign for the money, he signed a data transparency waiver. Alex's tech firm, Event Horizon, now had legal permission to audit every single account tied to Chad's name, which, were all co-managed by his daddy, Sterling Sr. Alex's dev team spent all night running a forensic AI script through the Sterling family office servers. They didn't just find the museum fraud, they found a shadow ledger. It turns out Sterling Sr. wasn't just a dirty landlord. He was laundering offshore cash through distressed historical properties. And the biggest client on that ledger, it was the very same judge who was supposed to hear the Sterling's lawsuit against Alex on Monday morning. Monday morning hits. The courtroom is packed with local press looking for the trial of the century. Sterling Sr. struts in like he's still the main character, whispering to his lawyers that they're about to crush this tech brat. But before the judge can even bang the gavel, Alex's legal team drops a 500-page motion to disqualify. The courtroom goes dead silent as the receipts hit the screen. Alex doesn't just show the fraud. He plays a recorded Zoom call, legally captured during the audit, of Sterling Sr., promising the judge a board seat on the new condo development in exchange for making the Miller family's 1937 deed disappear from the public archives. The judge turns pale, realizes he's cooked, and recuses himself on the spot. But as Sterling Sr. tries to bolt for the exit, the doors swing open. It's not more lawyers, it's the feds. And they aren't there for the fraud. They reveal that Chad, the runaway groom, didn't just ghost the wedding. He'd been wearing a wire for the FBI for the last 6 months, as part of a plea deal to save his own skin. Fast forward 3 months. The Sterling empire didn't just crumble, it got deleted. Sterling Sr. is trading his tailored suits for an orange jumpsuit. Chad is living in a modest apartment, working a 9-to-5 at Alex's company as a junior analyst, his trust fund completely liquidated to pay back the Miller Reparations Fund. Alex stands in front of the San Diego Community Heritage Museum. He didn't build condos. He used his tech billions to restore the whole block to its 1930s glory, putting the Miller name back on the front gates where it belonged. Tiffany? She's the museum's new executive director. She ditched the social climbing aesthetic and started focusing on real legacy. At the grand reopening, a broken, bitter Aunt Carol shows up, trying to score a VVIP invite to the gala. She finds Alex at the bar. Alex, dear, it's family. Surely there's a place for me in the new Miller Empire. Alex takes a sip of his drink and hands her a brochure. Actually, Carol, we're hiring part-time janitors for the basement archives. It's not very intimate or curated, but hey, it's a vibe. The Sterlings are gone, the Millers are back, and the receipts are filed. But wait until you hear about the other family at that wedding. The bridesmaids who were in on the offshore accounts. They thought they got away clean. They were wrong. Some stories end with closure. Others end with consequences. This one, it was written the moment someone thought they could erase another person and walk away clean. If this diary felt uncomfortably real, that's because it is. Like this video, if you believe karma doesn't miss, it just waits. Subscribe to Revenge Diaries for stories they hoped would never be told. And comment below what part hit you the hardest. I read every one. Because this wasn't the end, it was a warning. The next diary starts somewhere else, with different people and a mistake that looks harmless at first. Until it isn't. This is Revenge Diaries. And the next story, it gets darker. Till then, stay tuned for the next story. And thank you for watching.